Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to a special afternoon Black Friday edition of the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. We got almost 4 hours of original programming for you today. Here we go with the Renaissance Mama, Courtney Riddle, to begin the show.
Hi, friends. I'm Courtney. I'm a performer, speaker, and a writer. I'm a mama to three crazy boys and a super sweet dog. I decided 12 years ago that I needed to create a business that worked for me instead of me working for it. I'm a multi passionate entrepreneur who may be considered a serial entrepreneur by some, but then I realized that all of my businesses focused on connection, community, and creating an incredible experience. I cannot wait to share with you how to make small but mighty changes in your life to affect your overall well being and create a life and business you want to get up in the morning for. That's right, my friends. I am the Renaissance Mama. Hi, friends. It's me, Courtney, the Renaissance Mama. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to check out this episode. I hope life is treating you well. I hope you are getting excited that we are coming to the end of the year. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast, and it's going to be busy, full of holidays and events and projects and so much more that all of a sudden 2023 will be here, which means a brand new year with new goals, new projects, and so many new opportunities. I want to share a story with you. So recently, I have been working on a brand new project. I am so pumped about it. It is totally aligned with what I want to do. I have been really strict on trying to get things done. It's one of those things that takes a bit longer than you think it is, which is most of life, really, especially things that are important to us. So I've been working on this project, trying to get it finished. I have some big goals for this project. I'm like very, very proud and excited about it. And while I was busy working on this project, I was contacted by a friend of mine. She's a woman entrepreneur who I love, of course, and she asked me to kind of hop on this other project for the week. No big deal, me being super people pleasing. I was like, yeah, no problem. Then all of a sudden I realized, wait a second, maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now. I have goals. I'm working on this project. I'm super pumped about this project. I don't know if I can put the time and effort into this. Plus, the thing she was asking me to do isn't even something that I'm really focusing on right now. Unfortunately, I had already said yes. And I do not like to go back on my word. So, lesson learned, I should number one, really consider my priorities and boundaries and think about things first before I said yes. But then what I decided to do is instead of, freaking out and being worried that I couldn't take on this new thing, I decided to take it as a different opportunity. I decided to take it as a time to work with these other amazing women, amazing entrepreneurs, see what I can learn from them, see how I can support them, and really work on those relationships. So the goal no longer was really that final project. I decided, nope, I'm going to work on relationships with them. I'm going to see what I can learn from them. I'm going to see what we can do together. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how do you build relationships, business contacts, connections. I mean, I don't know about any of you people, if you're doing your business out there, it gets lonely. It's hard. We are putting on so many hats all the time, doing all of the things that sometimes you kind of wish you were going to an office full of people. You kind of wish you had all these supports and this outlets, and even just someone to just like say, hey, do you like this idea? What about this? What about that? Help you with the decisions, help you, get inspiration. Being an entrepreneur can be lonely. So you need to find your people. You need to find your community. You need to find your support. But sometimes finding, developing, keeping up with those relationships and connections can get totally pushed down to the bottom of the priority list. It just happens. And we've all heard that saying of, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. And that makes sense to me. I get it. Of course it does. I mean, if you are trying to do something like lose weight, for instance, you want to be with people who are eating similar things to you and have similar goals for you. Nothing is worse when you're trying to lose weight and you're eating like a salad and the person beside you is like, oh, I got my big burger and fries and man, this is delicious, right? You want those people around you because they're going to inspire you. They are going to help you. They are going to, give you good habits and good behaviors. They might be someone that you can look up to. Maybe they're doing things that you wish you could be doing, so you could mimic what they're doing. So you need to find your people. You need to find your circle. And that's what we're talking about today is how do you work on those relationships? How do you develop those connections? And how can you be a person that someone wants to have in their circle as well? The first thing I would do if I was to look for building new connections or developing new relationships is I would start looking with my circle already. What all about? Are they supporting my goals? Are they not part of my business? And they don't all have to be. There's so many times I talk to new entrepreneurs and they're like, I started this business and my family thinks I'm crazy, or my sister thinks I'm nuts, or my friends just really don't believe in me. That's fine. They are allowed to have their opinions, but maybe those aren't the people you're going to go to about business advice. My husband is great with business, but he doesn't know my business. He's not super artsy or creative. Some of the things I do all the time, he just doesn't quite. So when we have conversations about things, I have to know, okay, I'm going to only ask him about this specific question because that's his sort of lane. And if I'm going to look for something else, maybe I'm going to chat with someone else. But I also don't want him to feel like he has to all the things for me just because he's there all the time. He's my partner. He needs to have his own avenue and his own lane. I don't understand his work a lot of the times. We can have conversations, we can talk about things, I can give opinions, and we can chat back and forth, but I don't want to put that stress on our relationship. He shouldn't have to now be my business advisor because he's the only one that's here. Sometimes taking certain relationships and being like, okay, that is what that relationship's for. It doesn't have to be part of your business connections. Your business connections could be something very, very different. My mom, for example, is very creative. So when I'm looking for some of that out of the box thinking ideas, I usually call her up and we kind of go through things back and forth and I kind of throw after her, see what she's thinking about. But then when it comes to business, no, thank you. I will go to sales because she doesn't have that background. So no offense, but why do we think that all these friendships and all these people have to be all the different things? I really don't think they do. So that would be my first suggestion, is to really look at your circle of who you're hanging out with, who you're going to for business advice, who you're looking up to, who you're kind of checking out all the time. Because if you notice, okay, here are the people I have, then you can take a step back and think of like, what am I missing right now? Right? I have a friend who does this. Okay. I have a friend who does that. I have a friend who does this. But where are you, especially when we're thinking our business circle, our business connections, who do you have in that circle right now and who are you missing? So the first person I think you need in your business circle is you need to find someone that you can bounce ideas off of. So this is probably going to be someone that might be a little bit similar to you. They don't have to have the same business. They don't have to have the same goals, but you want them possibly to have a similar drive, maybe a similar outlook, a similar positivity. When I took B School earlier this year, it was incredible because I found this huge group of like-minded people who were so pumped to start their own business. They were so excited to learn a new way. So I learned with them. And then after we were done learning, I didn't want those relationships to end. So a few friends started our own little Facebook group and we connected that way. And it was great because not only were we similar in the ways that we experienced this, learning experience together, but we were similar in the ways that we all had these big goals. We had these big dreams. We were working on them, but we were still in the middle of it all. We were working hard, right? We needed to do all the work to make sure it got done. And one of my best experience from B school was meeting someone right near the beginning when I was really having a hard time focusing on what my next project was. I know, me not being able to focus, shocking, but I was having a really hard time putting my energy down, how to focus, how to get to what I wanted. I knew I had all these big visions, all these big goals. I just really didn't know what that next step was for me. And I was pumped, I was excited. So then that adds to the energy and the chaos. So I found a friend through our B school learning. She lives nowhere near me. She doesn't do anything similar business-wise, but she and I had some great conversations and she gave me some amazing ideas. She was like, why don't you try to mind map it? Why don't you walk through and do this or do that? So that's exactly what I did. And it was because of her, I was like, yes, I got so clear. I got so focused. I knew exactly what I wanted to do and what was next. So I continue to maintain that relationship. And I love seeing what she's up to. I love sharing with her some successes. I love even going back to the drawing board with her and being like, hey, listen, I'm working on this now. What do you think? And she might throw out some ideas. Then she tells me about something she's doing. And we go back and forth like that. So you really need to find someone that you feel comfortable just bouncing ideas with, a little bit similar to that you can have that you both kind of get each other and really get those ideas and creativity going. The next person you have in that circle of friends is someone that does certain things a little than you do. All right, so it took me a long time as an entrepreneur to finally admit, listen, I can't do it all. I'm not great at everything. I'm pretty good at a lot of things. I can learn really quickly, but at the end of the day, I can't be the best at everything. That's the reality. So I was trying for so long to try and do all of the things that I finally was like, nope, hold up. This isn't it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it for anyone. It took me so much longer to do certain things. And the reality is there's a lot of things that I'm just not that great at. So if you can find someone that you can either collaborate with, work with, eventually, potentially someone you can hire that will be able to do some of those things that maybe you just aren't great at. I had been teaching my musical theater classes probably for about 6 years. By the time I finally found somebody that I was like, okay, come on board with me. I need you. You need me. Let's do this together. So I shared with her all about my vision, my programs, how they work. And she was like, awesome, this is perfect. And she is so detail oriented. When we into musicals with the kids, she is very specific on every little note and tone, whatever. And I realized that is not my forte. I am the big picture. So that's how we joke back and forth, is that I do the big picture. I have the vision. I will take things, but little details, mind. I don't even notice, just come and go so quickly. That is her thing. So good at that. So trying to find those people that you can really work with, that, like I said, they might be a little bit better at something. And then there's probably something that you've got that you can give them back. That you're like, listen, I loved that you helped me with this. Can you help me with that? There is no shame, especially when you are doing it solo. You don't have the money to hire someone. Why not ask if there's a little barter you can do? I'm sure you have some incredible skills that you can share with a friend and vice versa, that you guys could really support and grow and help each other. That next person that you need in your circle of business friends is you need to find an accountability partner. This is so key in anything you're trying to do. If you're trying to grow a business, if you're trying to make a change in your life, if you're trying to reach any sort of goal, you need to have an accountability partner. And this could be someone that's in the business world with you. This could be a really good friend. This could be a family member. But you want somebody who is going to believe in you, who is going to, call you out when you are not doing the things you said you were going to do. This is the person who's going to motivate you. This is the person who's going to knock you around if you don't do the things. So you need someone that is going to make sure you do the things you said you were going to do. And what I would do with this accountability partner is, even, like I said, you could be that person for them as well. So have a very clear conversation of this is what I need you to do for me. This is what I can do for you. And let them know, these are my goals. This is when I want them done by. I'm going to call you on this day. I'm going to send you a text message on this day. And if you don't do those things, you've got to make sure that person is on you. I have a friend of mine who is so talented. She is absolutely talented at everything she does. She's a baker. She does photography, but she has a hard time believing in herself. She has all these ideas and she wants to do these things, but she's just not too sure on how to do them. And recently she had this big change in her life. So I told her, this is the time. This is the time you need to start all those things that you're afraid of starting. This is the time you need to, I wouldn't even say take a leap, because you can do it while doing the other things. You can have the safety net. But I kind of hopped on her and became her accountability partner, even if she didn't want it. I was like, listen, this is the first thing you need to do. You're going to do it by Monday. And I'm going to call you on Monday. I called her on Monday and she had an excuse. And then she had another excuse. Then she had another excuse. So I realized after doing this for a good week that I was pushing myself to be her accountability partner. She actually didn't ask me to do it. So as much as I thought this was the thing that should be best for her, I realized, okay, I will back off. She hasn't asked me. But when someone does ask you to be an accountability partner, I think that's a huge compliment. That is asking you to join that inner circle. I imagine a boxer and you're the coach behind with the water and you're giving them massages and you're pumping them up and you are in their corner. So you need someone like that. You can feel it already, that energy. Can't you imagine someone just pumping you up and you singing your song, chanting I just love it. You need that in your quarter. So find for someone awesome that's going to be your accountability partner, that's going to be able to push you, that's going to be able to challenge you, that's going to be able to give you grief when you don't do the things, but that's not going to happen because you're going to do the things you said you were going to do. Accountability partners are so awesome. So the next person you need in your circle of business friends is you need somebody who's just a little bit ahead of the journey from where you are. Now, I'm not talking a mentor. A mentor to me is something different. A mentor is someone that I believe we also should need. We'll talk about that in a second. But this person in your group, I want them someone you can still contact all the time. They need to be accessible. They need to be someone you can ask questions. They need to be someone that's just, like I said, that tiny bit further in the journey than you are. So for me, I would be looking for someone who's an entrepreneur. I probably want them to be a mom, because I need to have that visual of okay, this is similar to me. This is similar to where I want to be. This is what she's doing. And then I can either, see what she's doing and ask those questions, or I can mimic what she's doing, or I can really kind of dissect and research what she's doing. But for me, I think it does need to be a little bit similar to what I'm doing personally. So I want that life work integration happening. That is very important to me.